Just thought I might make a quick video talking about how important it is to be different because originals are worth more than copies. And when I was working a little bit this summer, I was working with some amazing people. It was a fantastic team. Probably one of the best teams I've worked with in retail and stuff like that. And the only thing is, from working with a few of them, there were some of them who really stood out, and then there were some that didn't, and it stood out a mile off. And there were some people who've been working there for years, and they all had very similar educations though. But what made them stand out was their attitude and approach towards the work. And a lot of people do the typical, high school, college, university, and given be that everyone has a different set of qualifications. But the problem is that I really don't think a degree is enough to be different, because it's so common these days for people to have degrees. And given me, I'm in university as well, and I enjoy the challenge of it. I enjoy the struggle of it, and it's been a lot of fun. But I don't think necessarily your A levels and your degree is that much of a differential to make you stand out, because so many people have degrees now. What can be different though is your attitude and your approach towards your work. And I said yesterday, you should be like the scorpion, not the chameleon. Your potential shouldn't be blending in to the environment. You shouldn't, be able to blend in so well that no one can see you amongst the herds. And you should be like the scorpion, and your potential should be dangerous. You should be unsurpassable. And that's what I mean. It's knowing that originals are worth more than copies. And the people who I did work with, who their attitude really shined through. And if you actually look at the word transparency in the dictionary, in Latin, it actually means shining through. And so many people are kind of conserving their human side, and that's usually their best quality. And instead, I think we should be letting it shine through a little bit more. And that is usually the best part about them, because we all have unique experiences and unique stories, and people usually conserve that. And like I said, I don't think qualifications is enough. It is your attitude and your approach towards your work, and your continual education as well, like your what they call it, CPD. Continued professional development, I think it is. It is that as well. The little pockets, how you specialize in your particular field. Are you an expert in it? Are you continuing to learn? Because people, most people hit a point, in my observations, like they hit a point with their education where they do the typical, they do it all and they get fantastic grades, and then it comes to a point where they finish their education and then they kind of stop learning and they kind of plateau. And I think it's good to be current, and it's good to be an expert in your field. No matter what position you're in, you can get to a point. I really think that growth is like a good equalizer. There's quite a few definitions to the term equalizer. I'm really interested in words, and like the word equalizer is actually it's actually used as EQ on like a mixer, and it's used to eliminate the distortion. It's also an equalizer is something like in a tied game, where people have an equal amount of points. And also it's used as a counterbalance of weight, where a weight balances another weight at the same point. And the reason why I say this word equalizer is because I really think personal development and personal growth, is a great equalizer. For example, if you want to learn a particular skill, the only way you can get to that point is to grow up to that point. And wherever you are right now is a result of your own personal growth. So if you want to get to another level, you have to grow into that level. And this is the beneficial thing about personal growth and self-improvement and stuff like that, is because you can just literally improve your way to your success. You don't have to be at that point now, but as long as you're willing to grow into that next level, then you're usually fine. And I think it stands out a mile from people that their potential just completely shines through, because it is so powerful when they continue to grow. They don't just do the typical education stuff like that. I think it's them little pockets of qualifications you do in your spare time, the stuff that it kind of supplements to the typical education. And don't get me wrong when I'm saying this, I'm not saying that the typical education is bad. I'm just saying that I don't think it's enough these days to kind of stand out amongst the herds, because everyone does that kind of typical regimen within their education. So what I'm trying to say is that originals are worth more than copies. Try and do some form of continual education. You should be doing some form of reading or something, attending seminars, doing courses. Them little pockets of information, like if I was to hire someone as an employee, that would be the first thing I looked at. Are they continuing growing? Are they never settling? Are they hungry to want to learn more and be an expert in their field? Because, like I said, I don't think A-levels and degrees these days is enough to stand out at least at a phenomenal level. You know, you can still get fantastic jobs and stuff like that, but I mean, if you want to be like the expert and at the peak of your potential all the time, then you have to continue to grow into them next levels of your own personal development. So, hope you've enjoyed that video. Any questions, comment below, and speak to you soon. Have a good day. Thanks very much.